皆さん、こんにちは。アルファアドバイザーズの坂下です。今日は、インシアードの MBA のアドミッションの方に来ていただいて、インシアードの MBA の説明、実際のプログラムの説明だったり、インシアードの強みだったりですね。あとは結構皆さんも気になっている MBA の卒業後のキャリアとか、あとは実際の出願の時に必要なプロセスとか、一連の流れについてお話していただこうと思います。で、今日はですね、インシアードのアドミッションの方とは普段からやり取りしていて、アルファでもインシアードとかですね、特にそのシンガポールにキャンパスがあったり、あとはフランスにももちろんあるんですけど、今アメリカのサンフランシスコにもね、キャンパスがあったりするんですけれども、最近シンガポールに非常に興味がある方も多くて、で、先日インシアードのその MBA よりもっとさらに若手向けの方向けの、大学生が卒業行けるだったりとか、卒業後すぐに行けるプログラム、あとは社会人だと1年目、2年目ぐらいまでの方が主な対象になっている、MIM っていうね、プログラムをご紹介したんですけど、そちらもすごくね、アルファで動画をやったら人気になって、早速聞いとかっていう方がいたりしてですね。で、アルファの方は皆さんアドミッションにして、でそうすると結構ね、皆さんアドミッションの方とお話ししたり、実際にアプリケーションもスムーズに進んだりするので、そういうプロセスをとっているんですけれども、今日は MBA の方ですね。MBA もインシアードトップスクールに、いつも君臨していて、去年、一昨年とかは本当にトップランキング1位とか、そういったところにも輝いているもう素晴らしい学校ですね。あとは今日は卒業後のキャリアというところをお話しいただこうと思うんですけれど、インシアードというとコンサルティングとか、コンサルに強いみたいなイメージをお持ちの方も、もしかしたら多いかもしれないんですけれども、実際には金融とかテクノロジーとか事業会社とか、本当に世界のトップカンパニーに卒業生の方がたくさん入っています。で、インシアードは入学時期も9月と1月と2つあるので、なるべく早めに行きたいなっていう方なんかは、1月狙っている方もアルファでもいますし、もちろん9月で入学するっていう方もいるので、ぜひ、今日のゼミ、最後まで皆さん、本当に素晴らしいプログラムでですね、なかなかアドミッションの方がね、直接お話ししていただく機会もないと思いますので、ぜひ最後まで見ていただいて、YouTube で見ている方は、コメント欄にご質問とかコメント入れていただければお答えしていきます。で今日は、主に英語のセッションになるので、英語の授業ではないんですけどね、どんな感じかなっていう形で皆さんも、英語普段あまり聞き慣れない方も聞いていただければと思いますし、ご質問は日本語でも全然構いませんので、日本語で何でも聞きたいことを入れていただければと思います。はい。インシアードはですね、後でまたラウンドのお話するんですけど、次が、直近だと11月に、セカンドラウンドっていうのがあって、そこもテスト勉強とかが結構スムーズにいけば十分間に合うと思いますし、その後にも入学のチャンス受けられるラウンドがまだありますので、ご興味がある方は早めにご相談ください。今日は YouTube のコメント欄と概要欄に登録フォームというのを置いていますので、インシアード興味あるなという方はぜひ登録しておいていただければと思います。そのまますぐにね、アドミッション、なんか受けなきゃいけないとか、強制的に受験することにはならないんですけども、優先的に情報が行ったりだとか、あとはご興味があれば、アルファの個別指導の方でアドミッションの方にそのままおつなぎして、やっぱりアドバンテージというかですね、結構ファストトラックに乗れるみたいなところもあるので、ぜひご興味がある方は、登録フォーム、コメント欄と概要欄に置いておきますので、そちらにもご登録いただければと思います。はい。では、アドミッションの方にここからプレゼンテーションしていただこうと思います。ぜひ皆さん YouTube のコメント欄にもご質問とかコメントをどんどん入れていただければと思います。So, Jennifer さん、please start your presentation today.
Okay, thank you so much, Amy. Hello, everyone. I'm Jennifer from Insead, and I'm currently in charge of the MBA and also our another full-time degree Master in Management Recruitment in Japan. So today I'm very happy to give everyone an overview about our Insead MBA program. So for Insead, I think we already have more than 16 years history, and we are one of the pioneer management in management education. And most important, I think Insead has been very dedicated in the management education, especially what MBA is our flagship program. So as you may know that Insead has been always highly ranked in the world And for the MBA, so in the recent 6 years, we ranked number 1 3 times for the Financial Times MBA ranking. And also as a private business school, we are not as a general university that you will see the QS university ranking, but in the subject, because we focus on business and management, we have been always ranked number 1 in the world and just after Harvard. So in the meantime, you can also see a lot of multinational companies that their CEOs are our Insead MBA alumni. So you may be surprised that Insead actually we produce the second largest number of the CEO for the 500 Fortune companies, and also right after Harvard. So there is a huge global business leaders network that from Insead. And in the meantime, Insead is also one of the very unique school that have global campuses. So this gives Insead a very good advantage in terms of having the global outreach and global network. So for example, our first campus is in Fontainebleau in France. And then we set up our Singapore campus as the Asia campus in the year of 2000. So by now, we already have more than 20 years being in Asia, having a full-fledged campus. And in Abu Dhabi, we also have our campus. And just 2 years back, we set up our business and innovation hub in San Francisco. So basically, you can see that Insead, the global campuses, not just giving our participants that the different locations to study, and more important, it is that we connect you with the global network. Not just alumni network, but also the corporate network and also the networks with the potential investors. So basically in Fontainebleau is our first campus, and it's located in right next to the Fontainebleau Chateau. So it's around 45 minutes away from Paris and very next to the nature. And if in Singapore, I think if you're Japanese, that you definitely will not be like you will be very familiar that how Singapore will look like. So it's a modern city that the Insead just located on top of one of the MRT station. So it's very convenient and closer to the center of the city. And our San Francisco hub is also has a very strategic location. So if you can see a lot of tech companies and also startup, they are just located next to Insead, the San Francisco hub. So this gives our participants a very close connection with the tech companies and also the potential investors network. So far, I think Insead as the business school, so majority of our alumni that they are from our MBA program and also other degree programs. So some of them, around 30% of them are from our other executive education program. But in the meantime, you can see Insead's network really expand all over the world. We have alumni in more than 180 countries. So basically, wherever you go, you'll probably connect with your alumni. And sometimes as an MBA graduate, you probably will find your classmates everywhere in the world. So for example, in Japan, we have a very strong National Alumni Association. And our Japanese alumni are also very regularly organize events, and then in Japan, especially in Tokyo. In Insead, the MBA class is around 500 students every intake, but we have 2 intakes a year. So you can see usually we will have 900 to 1,000 students a year. But just looking at the diversity of the profile is really huge. So not just talking about the nationalities, but also the country they work before MBA. So for example, like in MBA class, every year we have students that they work in more than 60 to 70 countries before they join Insead. That means in the same class, you really learn from your peers and the different business practice, not just from the professors. In the meantime, as a non-native speaker, you also will be very comfortable that in the classroom, because we only have 16% of the students that their mother tongue is English. So in such a diverse environment, everyone is a minority. So you will feel that everyone's voice will be heard, that hear different perspective, and then you will also be one of them, and then to share your experience and then your culture and your business practice in the country. So in terms of the professional background that our students are come from, like technology, we have 14% come from the technology, media, telecommunication, but also similar percentage, and then for finance and consulting background. A majority of our students are actually coming from all walks of life, that from different industry under corporate sector. And if you look at 80% of the students, that they have around 3 to 8 years of work experience. But of course, different country, the profile is slightly different. So for example, for candidates from Japan, we usually see the range will be bigger, so larger, because a lot of you may be sponsored by the company. So if this is the case, that we see sometimes Japanese candidates that they already probably have more than 8 years, 10 years, or 11 or 12 years work experience before they join Insead. So most important, it is not about your age or the years of work experience, but more important is that what type of value you can bring into the class, and also how MBA can add value to your career progression at this moment, right? And for the Insead MBA program, we have a very unique structure. I think we have the shortest MBA program in the world, that our curriculum is only 10 months. So no matter you join January or August intake, the time on campus will be only 10 months. The only difference is that for August intake, you will start in August and finish all the courses by next year, end of June, and then you graduate. But for January intake, it's also 10-month curriculum, but you will have July and August that completely free. And most of our students that they will probably do a full-time internship during July and August. That's why you will start in January and then you finish the program in December. So that is for the January intake. There's no difference in terms of diversity or admissions rate or faculty courses for two intakes. The only difference is this 2 months internship. And especially for those who are looking for opportunities in investment banking or private equity in Europe, that we strongly encourage you to apply for the January intake instead of the August intake. But if you are not looking into this financial sector, and also you're probably sponsored by a company, or you just want to change industry but not change to investment banking or private equity, then from our stats, both intakes has a similar pool of students. So most important is that which timeline fits your schedule better. And in the meantime, as an MBA candidates, you can also choose your home campus. That means you want to start in Singapore or you want to start in Fontainebleau. Once you choose your home campus, you will stay in your home campus for the first 4 months. But after that, by bidding system, it's subject for to the availability and also the online bidding system. You can do the campus exchange, including campus exchange among Insead campuses, but also including the exchange opportunities with Kellogg, Wharton, for both intakes, and SIPS in China for the January intake. And of course, for our August intake, you will have one more option for campus exchange in Insead is to the Abu Dhabi campus. So every period at Insead is only 2 months. So that's why you will see 5 periods in total, and it sums up to 10 months curriculum. So besides the difference that of campus and also the internship, the courses are completely the same. So at Insead, we practice the mirror system. So no matter you start in Singapore or you start in Fontainebleau, the courses will be the same. And even for electives, we make sure that 75% of the electives are offered in both campuses. So there's no concern if you should choose Singapore or Fontainebleau. But more important is that where you want to spend the time, most of your MBA time at. So for example, if you want to have more experience and exposures in Europe, because probably most of your time you were in Asia, then you can choose Fontainebleau as your home campus. In the meantime, if you want to develop your career in Europe or US market, then choose Fontainebleau campus will give you more time and also the more convenience network that you can build and then in that market. But if you see that you want to develop yourself in Asia in the future, or you just want to be closer to home, then Singapore campus will probably be a better choice. In terms of courses at Insead, even though we are business school, but you can see the variety of the courses are very big, and that not just cover all the traditional business courses, but also expand to the courses involve like AI, technology, storytelling. All this will help you succeed in the future as a senior management role. And for example, our faculties that they are very well known in the industry as well. So like Blue Ocean Strategies Arthur is actually our Insead professor. And in the meantime, like Claudia is very famous in private equity, and she closely works with a lot of private equity top firms in both Asia and Europe. And in the meantime, and then she also the advisor for a lot of top private equity firm and different organization. Antonio is also one of our famous professor that always be interviewed by the media and the news. So he graduated from Harvard. And in the meantime, he's involved in a lot of international organizations advisory. So through his macroeconomic class, you really learn the global business, even you're sitting in either Singapore or Fontainebleau. And not just about the courses at Insead. So Insead has a very vibrant student bodies. So we encourage a lot that our students have to be open-minded and also embrace the diversity, because diversity is in our genes. So in Insead, you can see that we really have students that are coming from 80, 90 countries in one class. So we really maximize the this advantage and then in your study and your learning experience. So we break every 5 to 6 students in one group. So in this study group, everyone coming from different country and also coming from different culture background and different industry. So when you study together, you can really learn from each other and also help each other to have a more efficient way of learning. And this will save a lot of your study time as well. And besides the study, and then every week, then you will have a lot of events, and including the student clubs, different types. So we have 40 student clubs in total in both campus, because we have such a large student group. So basically, no matter you are in Fontainebleau or you are in Singapore, you will have sufficient amount of students that you can share the common interest to form the club and organize the activities, connect with the industry guru, or just organize social events, and then for your hobbies, and then the club relevant to your hobbies or interest to your fellow classmates. So every week we also have career events. So career, I'm sure a lot of students that if they are looking for an MBA program, even you are sponsored by the company, but your purpose will also be you want to accelerate your career in the future, or master the management skill, or master like to have a fast track in your career. So the Career Development Center will work very closely with our students. Definitely not like just for finding a job for you, but more important, I think, is equip you be future ready. So from different types of training, workshops, and professional coaching to walk you through different types of industry environments and what they are looking for in the MBA profile. So every year we work with 580 companies. Sometimes you'll go up to 700 companies that to offer the opportunities for students to connect with all these companies, and also sometimes there is direct recruitment and then as well. So it covers actually all industries. In the meantime, like the companies will also come on campus and then do the recruitment. So some companies that they have very structured hiring process. For example, consulting, and or investment banking. So they have specific time frame for each intake and then to come. But also there are not very structured hiring process. The companies that like for example, the tech companies or startup, and they will work with our CDC team closely when there's opportunities coming up. And Insead is very famous for consulting. I think I don't need to talk too much about that, but more important, I think Insead do have a lot of other connections that help students and then who are interested in other industries. So especially I think for tech, we do see an increasing number in the recent field intakes that students are joining the tech companies after their MBA. So compared with our peer school, Insead, you see there's quite a bit of students are getting into tech. And also compared with the alumni network in Asia, and Insead definitely have an absolute advantage. So in the meantime, the corporate leadership programs are also the popular option for top MBA graduates. So they're located in different countries, and usually they also have the rotation trainee program for the top MBA graduates. So this will also be available for students and then from different types of background or more strategy role. And if you want to start your own company in the future, or you're already an entrepreneurship, then I guess you can definitely tap on the Insead Entrepreneurs network. So as you can see that we have a very strong connection in entrepreneurship. And we started our entrepreneurship center many years ago. And especially for Insead, we rank #1 in the world for the unicorns universities. #2 is Cambridge. But compared with the #2 university, Insead is just a business school, but Cambridge is a general university. So the number of alumni already have a very big gap. But still, Insead has the biggest number of the unicorns companies. So here are some examples of the companies that started by our Insead alumni. And if you want to know more about the MBA opportunities, that you can go to our website. So this website has a very comprehensive data about where our students go, and also what type of industry, which country they work at, and what is the salary range and the compensation range, and then in this industry and this country. So every year we have students work in more than 60 countries. So that's why if you look at the opportunities, that the career opportunities that Insead can offer is no longer just in France and Singapore, even though our campus in these two countries, but actually the opportunities are everywhere in the world. And for admissions, I think we look at 4 perspectives. The first one is quite straightforward, it's your academic capacity. So we look at your undergraduate degree or your master degree, the reputation or ranking of the school, and how did you perform during your university time. And in the meantime, we also look at your GRE or GMAT score. So we don't have a minimum GRE or GMAT score. We do see some students that even they score at 600 or 620 at the lower end, but they did very well during the program and after the program as well. So what we try to give you a suggestion is that you can prepare yourself for a more balanced GMAT or GRE score in both quantitative and verbal. For example, if you are able to achieve 70 to 75 percentile in both quantitative and verbal for GMAT, or 80 to 85 percentile in both quantitative and verbal in GRE, that will be very safe. So, and in the meantime, we also evaluate the other parts of your profile, including your professional experience, your personal life experience, to figure out if you can show a strong leadership potential and any unique contribution you can bring into the class, and also how open-minded you are. If you are very adaptable, you can really fit into such a diverse community. So your international motivation is important. It doesn't mean that you definitely have to work or study overseas, but it's more important is to, through your past work experience or your past life experience, to show us that you can understand different culture very well and you are culturally sensitive. So when you react to in a very diverse group, you are culturally sensitive. So this is something that it's important, and then in admissions that you can keep in mind when you draft your essays and also prepare for the rest of your application. And in Insead, we also have a language policy, but if you're Japanese, I think you don't need to worry about this part at all, at least for the admissions criteria. So usually your first native language will be Japanese, and then your second language will be English, that you need to provide IELTS or TOEFL. Again, we don't have minimum score in IELTS and TOEFL, but the recommended score in IELTS is 7.5. But even you get 7 in IELTS, I think that's also fine. So we will look at the, again, verbal of your GMAT or GRE score. And in the meantime, we will look at the video interview. How did you perform? But if you get 7.5, that is very safe for IELTS. And TOEFL, the recommended range is around 105. So, so for the exit language, you don't need to have it before you join the program. So for example, of course, if you already speak another language besides English and Japanese, then it's very good. But even you don't, you also can have the free language class when you join the program, either on campus or online. As long as you can complete the third language, the very basic level, like A1, and then you'll be able to graduate. And so far, we haven't seen anyone cannot graduate because this exit language policy. So, but this will definitely help you to show your international motivation to the future employer. That's why we always keep this language policy with us. It's very different from other schools. And in the meantime, if you want to apply, everything will be done online. So you need to prepare. The most important thing is your essays, your application online, and when you have your GMAT or GRE score ready. And in the meantime, once you complete the online application form, you will also receive a link for the video interview. The video interview is part of the online application that everyone has to complete. But it's usually 45 seconds to prepare and 1 minute to answer. And there are 4 questions in total. And you have actually have many times, you can practice many times before you start the actual recording. So try to submit your application early so that you have more time to prepare for a video interview. And in the meantime, if you are not sponsored by a company, that you can also look into different options of fundings, including scholarships. If your profile is very good, we have a lot of different types of scholarships for you to apply. And in the meantime, there are also external funding options that you can research a bit more on our website. So far, we are open for the application for August 2023 intake. And the round 1 just passed this month earlier, and whoever are preparing for the 2023 August intake can target the later 3 rounds. And it's important to keep in mind that in Insead, every round is the same for admissions. So it doesn't mean that you apply in round 4, then you will have less opportunity to get in compared the people applying round 1. So once you are ready, and then you can submit your application accordingly. And for January 2024 intake, we will start the application probably in January 2023. And the first round deadline is 7 March, which is exactly the same as the round 4 deadline for August 2023 intake. So if you start preparing for your application and have any questions about your profile, and if you are not sure how to build a strong application, you can also reach out to our team. So you can reach out to me directly, and then to schedule a one-to-one consultation to just discuss about your profile and also get some application guidance from our recruitment team. So I think the next step is that if you are interested in Insead, so do reach out to me or join our online events at this moment, and then to know more about the program and connect with our students and alumni.
Thank you. Thank you so much. はい。ということで、ちょっと一通りご説明いただいたんですけど、かなりプログラムのそのフレキシビリティとか、あとキャンパスもね、シンガポールとフランスと選べて、10例エクスチェンジにも行けたり、他の学校にも行けたりっていうのがあったりするんですけど、 ちょっとご質問もいただいているので、振り返りながらですね、ご質問にお答えしつつ、振り返りながらいきたいと思います。So we will move on to the Q&A session with audience. ちょっとご質問を、もしある方はどんどん日本語で入れていただければ、読んでお答えいただきますので、よろしくお願いします。まず最初ですね。ビザに関するご質問で、インシアードの MBA に行くと、フランスとシンガポール、両方で働くビザがもらえるのでしょうかということですね。はい。じゃあ、ちょっと聞いていきたいと思います。So, Jennifer, the first question is about a working visa. So, if I attend Insead, will I get a visa to work in both France and Singapore?
Okay, so I think for the working visa, it's not attached to the school. So it's attached to each government. So no matter you study in Insead or you study in other schools in France or Singapore, the policy will be the same. For example, if you are the full-time students studying in France for more than 6 months, then you will be able to apply for the long-term pass and then to stay in Europe for around 1 or 1.5 years. And this visa can be activated within 4 years after you graduate. So for example, in Insead, our structure is 10 months, right? So if you choose Fontainebleau in France as your home campus and you spend the first 6 months in France, that means you already are eligible to apply for this visa after you graduate. Even you immediately find a job in Japan or Singapore, you didn't apply for this visa, you still have a chance to apply for this visa later, as long as within 4 years after your graduation. But if, for example, if you totally haven't spent any time in France or less than 6 months, then you will not be able to apply for this the French visa to stay there, to look for a job. And for Singapore, it is the same, but Singapore is that you need to be here as a full-time student studying here. And after that, you can apply a visa for up to 1 year as the long-term visit pass. So you can look for a job during this 1 year. But do keep in mind that for the visa that you apply, because as a full-time student studying here, will not cover your work pass. So at the end of the day, you still need to find a job, and then the company will sponsor your visa, no matter in Singapore, in France, or in US, or in other countries in the world.
Okay, thank you. I understood well. そう、なので、すごく、いいというか、結構最近ヨーロッパで就職したいという方もいらっしゃるので、そういう方にとってすごくいいかなと思いますが、まず卒業したらワーキングビザが取れるというよりは、卒業したらそのビザを取るための申請ができるっていうような感じかなと思います。で、フランスの場合は、6ヶ月いれば、その卒業した後に次ビザを取得できる申請ができるので、そうすると、ジョブが、エンポロイヤーがいれば、1年とか1年半とか、フランスにいられるビザがもらえるということですかね。で、しかもフランスの場合は、一旦例えば日本に帰ってきたとしても、卒業後4年間はその申請が有効らしいので、すぐに、アメリカとかだとね、一旦帰ってきてしまうと、その OPT が切れちゃったりしますが、一旦帰ってきて、で、卒業してから4年以内のそのなら、もう一回そのビザを申請して、で、職がもらえればフランスで働けるということだと思います。で、シンガポールの場合は、同じようにフルタイムスチューデントとして、シンガポールで学んでいると、ロングタイムビジットパスかな。卒業してから働く、滞在できるビザの申請ができるので、プラスアルファそこで仕事が見つかって、ビザを発行してもらえれば、そのままシンガポールで働けるという感じですかね。はい。フランスに結構そのまま現地でフランス好きな方とか行きたいという方もいらっしゃいますし、あとはシンガポールなんかは結構ね、ご家族で行って、お子さんの教育もシンガポール受けさせたいとかっていう方もいるので、すごくチャンスかなと思います。はい。次ですね。先日、アルファさんの YouTube ライブで、インシャード MIM プログラムのご説明を伺いましたが、改めて MIM と MBA 両プログラムの違いについて教えてくださいということですね。はい。MIM はね、先ほど冒頭に申し上げたように、基本的には若手向け、若手というか、具体的に言うと、大体卒業したら、 大学院卒業してから2年以内ぐらいの方が対象っていうことだったんですけど、ちょっと今日表もあったかなと思うので、詳しく伺おうと思います。So the next question is the difference between MIM and MBA. So we recently heard you explain the Insead MBA program on our YouTube live, and I would like to ask you again about the difference between the MIM and the MBA programs.
Okay, so as I think if you someone already look at the meme, the introduction, and then probably have a little bit insight. So I just show again. So in Insead, we have a very clear guideline. So which program probably will be the best fit for you. So it's based on your career stage. If you are at the very, very early career stage, especially for those who have no working experience, or probably you have very minimum, like how do you calculate? It's by the program start. So for example, if you plan to start your study by next year, 2023 August, then you have to count if you have less than 2 years of work experience by August next year, then you probably should look at the Master in Management program. But if you have actually more than 2 years of work experience or already have 3 or 4 years, then no doubt that you should definitely look at the MBA program. And I understand there will be some marginal case for example, just 2 years or just 2 years and have 1 or 2 more months, then you can reach out to me and then you show me your CV and walk me through your experience, and I can give you a better explanation.
Okay, thank you. なんで、インシアードの場合は、かなり結構この MIM とか、ハルトとかもそうですけど、MIM とかマスター、若手向けのマスターと MBA って結構明確に線引きをしている学校が多いかなと思うんですけれども、インシアードもそんな形で、MIM の場合は、ゼロから、まず対象がそもそも0から2年間。で、それも入学するときに、働いている期間が2年なので、それに当てはまる方、今だと2023年の8時点で、ワーキングエクスペリエンスが2年未満の方は MIM。で、それよりある方は、基本的には MBA 対象になるということですかね。はい。でプログラムも、この前の MIM の時におっしゃってたのは、MBA の人とは授業を一緒に受けたりはあんまりしないということだったので、そこは結構綺麗に分かっているのかなと思います。MIM もね、結構先日のライブをやってから、ご興味があって、行ってみたいみたいな方もね、すごくたくさん来ていて、MIM もシンガポールとフランスと両方のキャンパスで学べるので、その MIM の方は半分半分とかでしたかね。なので、ぜひ MIM 興味ある方も MBA 興味ある方もご相談いただければと思います。はい。で、次ですね。インシャードでは MBA、EMBA のプログラムの内容の差、ターゲットの年齢層はありますかということですね。はい、ありがとうございます。So the next question is the difference between MBA and executive MBA. So at Insead, is there a difference in the content of the MBA and executive MBA programs and the target age group?
Okay, so that's a very good question. Actually, for Insead, if you look at the faculty, and also if you're just looking at the title or subject of the courses, you will find out probably even for MIM, MBA, EMBA, it looks very similar because it's still the fundamental knowledge, the general knowledge that you need to learn in across different programs, the business program. But what makes the difference, a huge difference, is that your learning experience with your peers. So that's why even you look at the topic is the same, for example, accounting. But the level that the accounting in Master in Management and in the EMBA class, even taught by the same professor, it will be very different, right? It depends on the experience you have and what level you are looking at this subject and how you discuss with your classmate. That's why we have a clear guidance in terms of which program is for which group of people at their different career level. So if you're just looking at the number of years, then Master in Management is for those less than 2 years of work experience, and MBA usually is that 3 to 10 years. So for Japanese candidates, sometimes there will be 11 years or 12 years that if they sponsor by company. But for the executive MBA program, it will definitely for more the senior executives that they probably already have more than 13 years of on average, they have around more than 13 years of work experience. But most important, it is not just about the years of experience, because we do see some candidates, students in the EMBA program, they have lesser years of work experience. For example, just 10 years or sometimes 8 years or 9 years. But they have been doing very well and also have been holding a senior position for a few years. So this also will add it up into the consideration that if you should go for the MBA or EMBA, will there be any overlap in terms of profile? Yes, there will be, but then in this case that you need to let us know, like for example, send your CV to us and also demonstrate your purpose, what you are looking for. And sometimes it's just because of the format. So if you just have 10 years of work experience in also a good position, then some of the candidates that they don't want to quit their job and they think that executive MBA works better. They can travel and there's no problem at all. But there are some candidates from some specific industry, right? And they want to devote it the whole year and then in the full-time study so that they can focus and also build an international network. And especially for those schools sponsored by company. Then so you will see that even they have already 10 or 11 years of work experience, then they will still join the full-time MBA program.
Okay, thank you. はい。ということで、まずその結論として、プログラムの内容、だいぶ違うということで、基本的に MBA とかっていう学ぶコンテンツの内容とか科目というのは同じような名前なんですけど、一番違うのはやっぱり学ぶ、それぞれのコホートにいる人たちのバックグラウンドとか年齢とかっていうのが違っているので、そうすると同じ教授から同じ科目を習っていても、すごく学びの、質だったりレベルっていうのが違ってくるという話をされていたと思います。で、EMBA はだいたい13年以上ぐらい職務経験がある方なので、どうですか、40代とかの方が多いと思うんですけど、ただ中には8年とか9年とかっていうような方も、本当30代ぐらいですかね、30代前半とかの方もいるということですかね。で、実際になので、その方のバックグラウンドとかによって、あと目的とかですね、EMBA とMBA の差だと、大きいところだとそのクラスフォーマットが違うので、MBA だと現地に実際に行って、もうずっと現地に、会社を休職するなり辞めて行ってっていう形だと思いますけど、EMBA はその仕事を中断したくない、クイットしたくないっていう方もいるので、そういう自分の今までのプロフェッショナリティだったり、目的だったり、フォーマットだったりによって違うという。で、CV とかをですね、送っていただいて、多分カジュアル面談とかにセット、アルファからもご紹介した方は、アドミッションの方とカジュアル面談したりしているので、CV とかアルファでちゃんと作って、ご相談されるといいと思いますけど、そうすると、あなたは MBA の方がいいとか、そういうアドバイスもくれるそうなので、ぜひ、どっちか迷っているって方は、ご相談いただければと思います。はい。次ですかね。銀行からプライベートイクイティファームへのキャリアチェンジを考えていますが、金融科目が集中して学べるコンセントレーションや選択科目はありますでしょうかということですね。はい、ありがとうございます。So the next question is about the class content. So he or she is considering a career change from a commercial bank to a private equity firm. Are there any concentrations or electives where he or she can concentrate on finance subjects?
Okay, so actually in Insead, as I mentioned, so we do have a very big range, and in terms of the electives that we offer. So if someone want to really transit to the private equity, I'm sure they will definitely take a lot more courses and in the finance field. For example, the very famous private equity electives that are offered by Claudia. And in the meantime, there are also students that take on risk management, portfolio management. So courses, I think, is one part, but more important, I think, is the network that Insead has. So in the same class, probably you already have your classmate that come from the private equity field. They can share a lot more insights with you. And also with the Insead network that we have very good connections in both Europe and Asia, that the people working in private equity. So for example, our founder of the Insead, George Dorio, that he founded Insead 60 years back. So he's actually was called the father of venture capital. So that's why Insead has a very extensive network of private equity and venture capital, especially in Europe. So I think all these resources and network that our students can also tap on when they are in Insead, but not just having the electives or courses, and then that will probably prepare you on the knowledge part, but also you will need the network and skill set, and then for the practical part.
Thank you. That sounds great. はい。なので、もちろんそのファイナンスのスキルセットとかをしっかり身につける科目っていうのもあるんですけど、やっぱりネットワークっていうところすごく強調されていたので、結構意外というか、私もすごくそうなんだっていうふうにお聞きして、驚いたというか、すごくいいなと思ったんですけれど、そもそもインシアードを設立された方が、もともと VC を結構、VC の父みたいなベンチャーキャピタルを創業したような方で、なので、ベンチャーキャピタルとかプライベートエクイティファームのネットワークがものすごく、特にフランス現地でっていうことなんですかね。フランスでのネットワークがすごくあるっておっしゃっていたので、そういったネットワークが非常に重要っていう話をされてましたね。もちろん授業でもファイナンスとかスキルセットを身につけられる科目はあるということでしたので、プライベートエクイティとか結構中でもこの今ちょうど出てる右から2番目の方とか、プライベートエクイティとかのことも強調されてたので、ファイナンス行きたいという方もすごくいいんじゃないかなと思います。はい、ありがとうございます。次ですね。卒業後にアメリカに就職している生徒さんは、もともとアメリカベースの生徒さんでしょうかっていう。そうですね。アメリカだとビザが必要なので、そういう一等のご質問かなと思うんですけれども。So the next question is working visa at US. So the students working in US after graduation originally US-based students who have already working visa at US?
Okay, so I think if your first priority is to work in US or stay in US for long term, I think definitely the US school will help the best. Right, because they have the best network, and then you will spend more time there. But when it comes to the visa policy, it will be the same as I mentioned by the country and the government. So for example, if you study in US, and then I think it's based on the STEM program, that if the program is STEM or not, is the STEM program or not, and then you will have 1 or 2 years and then visa to stay there. Otherwise, it will be the same that if you get a job, as our Insead student also the same, that if you get a job in US, and then a company will sponsor your visa for the first year. But if you the second year, I think you still need to go through the ballot, right? So if you don't get it, and then you will have to, the company either relocate you to another country. So for example, if someone have the offer and then in Amazon US, but after 1 year and then the visa, they didn't get the visa after the balloting, then probably they will relocate them to UK office. So again, I think the visa is not really attached to the school, but the company that will offer you a job.
Thank you. なので、US の就職を的に目指している方は、そもそもUS のスクールに行った方が、ビザとかネットワークとか、そもそもエンプロイヤーを見つけないと、アメリカでも卒業したら自動的にアメリカに残れるっていうわけではなくて、現地でエンプロイヤーを見つけて、ビザを発行してもらわないと、アメリカに残って働くことはできないので、そういう方はアメリカのスクールの方が、向いているんじゃないかっていうお話だったんですけど、はい、ぜひそのあたりの、そうですね、確かにそもそもアメリカに就職したいって方はアメリカに皆さん行かれて、ステムビザを取ってっていう形で、最近はね、アメリカ就職非常に簡単とは言いませんけれども、ステムを取って非常にスムーズにいっている方もアルファでは多いので、ぜひご相談いただければと思います。はい。インシアード MBA と EMBA の違いを教えてください。EMBA は何歳からでしょうか？ EMBA はオンラインとキャンパスで学ぶ形でしょうか？シンガポールでの就職も可能でしょうかということで、違いと何歳からというのは先ほどお答えいただいたので、ちょっとフォーマットについて伺おうかなと思います。 So the next question is about the executive MBA program. So could you let us know the class format of the executive MBA program, like online and on campus? And is it possible to get a job in Singapore after graduation of executive MBA program?
Okay, for our executive MBA program, actually we have our global executive MBA program, but we also have our joint executive program by Insead and Tsinghua in China. So it depends on which one you are looking at. And also for our global executive program, all the teaching will be in person. So you can choose either the Asia section. That means you will have class majority of the classes in Singapore, or you can choose the Middle East option that majority of the core course will be in Abu Dhabi. Otherwise, it will be the Europe option that in Fontainebleau. But in terms of the electives, so even you are studying in Singapore, Abu Dhabi, or Fontainebleau, you will have the time to get together to take some electives together. So there's no online option at this moment. So everything will be in person. But the duration of the program will range from 15 to 18 months, depends on which session you are joining. Usually you can see that expect that you will have probably 4 days and then courses in 1.5 months. So you will need to travel to the campus, and then for those 1 week, and then you will be studying full-time together with your classmate. Can you get a job in Singapore? Again, so for executive MBA, I think a lot of job search is at the executive level. So our career development center will also have the career coach and also the employer engagement specialist that work together with the executive level. But it will not be like MBA or master in management that there will be campus recruitment just for the MBA, because it will be more at the senior level and connect you with the companies or the alumni in the sector. So again, if you are able to, your skill set for the executive level, that your skill set, everything fits the company's need and you get a job, then of course the company will sponsor the visa for the executive level as well.
Thank you. なので、エグゼクティブ MBA は基本的にオンラインのフォーマットというのはなくて、現地に行くタイプということですね。で、EMBA もグローバルエグゼクティブ MBA と、あと、その清華大学と、今度 EMBA についても、また EMBA は、ね、担当のアドミッションの方が、メインの方が違うので、やっていただこうと思ってるんですけど、その、清華大学ですね。清華大学とのジョイントプログラムみたいなのもあるんですけど、ものによって期間は違うんですが、基本的に現地に行って学ぶっていうことですかね。で、期間が15ヶ月から18ヶ月なので、インシアードの EMBA は通常の他の、結構シカゴとか行かれてる方いるんですけど、より少し短いかなと思います。それで、シンガポールじゃない、インシアードの EMBA 行きたいという方でもアルファで結構多いですし、あとはもう現地に行って学ぶっていうことで、だいたい1ヶ月から1ヶ月半ぐらいの、スパンで、そこの間に1回、4日間ぐらいのセッションというか、4日間ぐらいの授業で、その間に現地に行くという感じですかね。なので、日本からだと、シンガポールとかだとそこまで、フライトとか、すごく離れてるわけではないので、日本にいて、香港とかも同様ですけどね、シンガポールのキャンパスに学びに行って、また日本に帰ってきて、仕事してっていう形で、も実際にいらっしゃったりします。で、あとは、職についても、エグゼクティブ MBA だと、やっぱりエグゼクティブレベル、その C レベルのお仕事とか、結構学校でもエグゼクティブコーチの方とかがいろいろ、サポートしてくれるそうなので、シンガポールでそのまま現地で就職することが可能ということですかね。はい。なので、EMBA 最近とてもね、人気があって、インシアードもそうですし、あとは今、シカゴ大学のね、EMBA も、香港にあるんですけど、最近いろんな COVID とかの事情でシンガポールに移ってたりして、シンガポールに行ってる方もいるのでね、全然日本からも意外と通ってる方もいたりしますので、ぜひご興味がある方はご相談いただければと思います。アドミッションの方にもね、おつなぎして、本当に MBA なんですけど、EMBA も、ちなみに余談というか結構重要な、皆さんにとっては重要な情報かなと思うんですけど、アドミッションの方にご紹介するとですね、いろいろアルファからご紹介して、 CV とかを作って出すと、やっぱりこの人いいなっていうことで、いろいろ CV のね、コメントくれたりだとか、その後もかなりファーストトラックみたいな形で合格まで行きやすいというのがありますので、ぜひ行きたい方はご相談いただければと思います。はい。次、起業のご質問ですね。起業される方が多いとのことですが、フランスやシンガポールで起業されているのでしょうか？起業しやすさは国などによって違いはありますか？国などにっていうのはどうですかね？ちょっとビザによっても違うと思うんですけれども。The next question is career after graduation, especially in entrepreneurship. There are students starting their own business in France or Singapore after graduation. And are there any difference in the ease of starting business between countries?
Actually, yes. So, for example, as I mentioned before, so for both campuses that we practice the mirror system. So, for just looking at the courses, it will be completely the same. Like even you study in France or even you study in Singapore, there's no difference of that. I think more the difference comes because of is the network, right? So if you're based in France, of course, it's not just about the study, and it's the like on your normal time that you will have more time to connect with the local alumni in Europe, and it's easier for you to access the corporate networks in Europe and North America or South America. But if in Singapore, then of course it will cover APAC, right? So the opportunity, especially for the career opportunities, that it's easier for you to access that the opportunities in Asia. It doesn't mean that if you're based in Asia, you will not be able to apply for jobs in Europe, because every job opportunities will be posted on our the global job portal. But what makes a difference is the connection and meeting the future employers or opportunities in person. Especially in Asia, I think that will be valued a lot more. So when it comes to choosing campus, I think you have to keep in mind that where you want to work after your MBA, or probably what type of experience that you are looking for in these 10 months.
Thank you. はい。なので、自分が将来何したいかによって、キャンパスを選んだ方が、あまりそういった、なんでしょう、こっちのがやりやすいとかっていうよりはいいかなということかなと思います。はい。ということで、ちょっとご質問はここまでですかね。ありがとうございます。ちょっと最後にですね、締め切り、アプリケーションデッドラインとかの情報を教えていただいて、終わりにしようかなと思います。So that's all for the Q&A session. So could you give us the remark of today's session?
Yeah, thank you, Amy. So I just want to give everyone an encouragement, because I think Insead is definitely a top MBA school, but I believe there's no perfect school in the world, and we hope that Insead will be the best one for you. And also, if you think there is like a culture fit and you like the program, and then don't underestimate yourself, and then do submit your application so that we can evaluate your profile on a more holistic view. Thank you.
Thank you so much. はい。なので皆さんぜひね、本当にハードルが高いと思わずにぜひチャレンジしてくださいっていうことと、本当にテストとか、インシャードトップスクールなんでね、自分は無理かなって思う方もいらっしゃるかもしれないんですけど、ぜひ、十分いろんな方にチャンスがあるので、挑戦していただければと思います。で、フォームもご興味がある方は登録いただければですね、アルファでも無料相談とかやっているので、いつでもご相談いただければと思います。So, thank you, Jennifer-san, today's session.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.